37-10, Brett.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say I called it, but I kind of called it. Georgia couldn't score.
Yeah, so they took some shots early.
I did want to say I called it.
I know you did. I was waiting for it. Yeah, so I mean, I thought that Georgia would have to do everything right in the beginning to make it close.
And they had the opportunity to. Yeah. There were some open receivers early. They didn't make the play, and the route was on.
Right, exactly. So they had some receivers. They took some deep shots. If they would have completed that, it could have been a different game early. I do think LSU would have won regardless, no matter what. But it wasn't close because they did not capitalize on any of those shots.
And because it wasn't close, because LSU went in and dominated the, quote, number 4 ranked team in the country, that's why LSU's sitting here at number 1 with the pick of the draw going to Atlanta to play Oklahoma.
Yeah, and I think the whole world saw that you have to absolutely put LSU at number 1 because of what they did all season, but they finally wanted to see it against Georgia in this type of atmosphere. They knew Georgia was going to play above themselves as well. And even with that being said, with this type of defense that Georgia has, LSU made them look like a crappy defense.
Yeah, no, look, their defense looked average. I mean, LSU, I thought they did a good job of stopping the run outside of Joe Burrow's runs, but they really did. They kind of probably held Elair to one of his lesser games yardage-wise, and it didn't matter.
No, Joe Burrow was on fire. He elevated his game in a time of need. You know, he was shaking and baking back there. They got pressure at times, but he was just the way he moves in the pocket. It's like no other. I mean, you look at Fields, you look at Lawrence. These guys can scramble, but there's something about scrambling and keeping your eyes downfield and always finding the open receiver. We have done it all season long, and we did it on the biggest stage yet this season.
Yeah, look, I mentioned it before in some other pods, and obviously this is the biggest stage that LSU's played on to this point.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow doesn't blink. The moment is never too big for him. Yeah, I think, going to the Heisman, coming back, preparing for a game, I am not worried about him. I think Lawrence is in that same boat. He kind of rises to the occasion. I'm not as sure about Fields. I don't think he's played super amazing in their really big games, but Joe Burrow is the best leader in the country, the best leader that's ever put on the LSU jersey that I've seen.
Yeah.
Everyone rallies behind him. He just doesn't flinch.
Everybody's been waiting for, I say everybody outside of LSU has been waiting for him to fall, waiting for him to slip up, just so they can give a little bit of an excuse of, oh, put Chase Young in there, or put Fields in there. They don't have moments like that, where you literally are dancing in the backfield, and kudos to the O-line, right? Let's give big shout-outs where shout-outs are due. The offensive line dominated a Georgia front seven that is very, very good, and we stonewalled them. And Joe Burrow had all day to throw the football. We're looking at the TV right now, the replay, that first touchdown. He points him out. He points out our guys on a scramble drill and just pegs them.
Yeah, and Joe Burrow had the walk-off touchdown pass a little later. This dude is just oozing confidence, and why wouldn't you? I mean, leads the all-time SEC touchdown passing, I believe. Mm-hmm. He's just been incredible. The team's been incredible. You're right. The offensive line played great. But if Joe Burrow doesn't have that elusiveness to just run away and look like the fastest guy on the field, another quarterback probably takes a few more sacks, and you're like, oh, they got us in long distances. But that never happened. I mean, LSU was on schedule throughout the game.
Absolutely. We can focus our attention on Joe Burrow all season. We can focus our attention next weekend for a full podcast about Joe Burrow. I think this podcast, we need to focus a ton of attention on this incredible performance by our defense.
Yeah.
Dave Aranda came in, and he was taking heat from a lot of people about how these guys aren't ready, our defense has been crappy all season, blah, 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 blah. Look, there's a reason why he's one of, if not the highest paid defensive coordinators in the nation, right? It's because his scheme is actually legit. When he has time to prepare for these type of big games, our guys are always in position. We executed as players this game. All season, we've had hit or misses. We've been off and on, right? Yep. This game, we showed up and we showed out.
And their two most dominant performances have been in their last two games against teams that are not the best. Georgia ranked number 4, but Texas A&M, whatever. We can say what you want about them. This defense is rounding into form. I was trying to do that last pod. Couldn't come up with rounding, but they're rounding into form.
Yeah.
And
peaking at the right time.
They even say on the, Pollock show, whatever the hell they do for the committee, the playoffs and stuff, and they were like, LSU has the worst defense left, right? Or out of the 3. And they're like, oh, yeah. I'm not so sure. I don't know about you. I mean, seriously, maybe they are, but I don't think there is a more talented. Like, I think LSU has the talent to match up with anybody on the defensive side of the ball. So maybe that's true, maybe that's not. But these guys are top players. Holy shit! Welcome to the world, Derek Stingley Jr.
Yeah, we've been waiting for this game from him. We have seen glimpses or flashes where he had a pick here or there. He's got great coverage, lockdown skills, but take over a game in big moments.
Yep.
He did it twice.
Yep.
And it was something that we've been waiting to see all season. I'm so happy he's peaking now, right? At the end of his freshman year in the championship run. He's so comfortable. That interception, not the last one, the first one, where he just spun back and it just stuck to him like glue. It was like what you saw from Tyrann Mathieu, where the ball just stays with him. He's a magnet for the ball.
That's the type of coverage you teach.
Yeah.
I mean, it was perfect. Look, and that interception, LSU kicks a field goal on 4th and 2 to go up 17-3. Maybe should have gone for it. If you had the 14.5 team total, you were cheering that they kicked it. But Georgia comes out right before the half, and as an LSU fan, I'm like, oh, we may get this ball back, get another field goal, maybe even score a touchdown and do what we did to Bama. Fromm made some good throws. They start marching it down the field, and you start thinking, is LSU going to have absolutely dominated this first half, and we're going into halftime up 7? You're like, that's not the greatest. And instead, Derek Stingley Jr. puts on a clinic and absolutely is just right there with the guy, turns like it's his job, and picks the ball off. That dude could play on Sundays now.
I was telling Grant during the game, we saw them driving, and it was like, man, we were in so much control. We're in control of this game. Can we just have a pick? Can we have some type of turnover or a big play at some point this game and just change the momentum and keep it on our offensive side and just put them down, go for the jugular here, and it happened. Cool. We ended up making plays. We had big blitzes. The blitz packages that we saw, we were finally getting to the quarterback and wrapping up. Delpit coming just absolutely free. Patrick Queen with the unselfish, disciplined, let's take out 3 defenders and open up the twist for Apu to come clean.
One team, one heartbeat.
And force a quick bad throw from Fromm. That we rattled him because of the exotic pressure that we finally were able to get to him.
Yeah,
this is a good O-line.
Yes, very good. They gave up 9 sacks all season. LSU had 3. Look, Chason is that guy who I think I was probably more hard on him early on about like, this dude is just maybe more hype than anything. First guy off the bus. He is starting to, and he has been playing like that guy who Dave Aranda 2 years ago said would have the single-season sack record. I mean, this dude is getting after it. He's playing fast. Everyone on the defense is playing fast. It's like I don't even know who to pick for. Obviously, Stingley would be the player of the game, but everyone showed up and did their job on offense, coaching, special teams. Look, Cade York missed that field goal right before half, but that dude's been pretty damn money in all the big games LSU's played.
And
I think
he made up
9
for
of
it.
11.
Yeah, and didn't he make up for it with a 50-yarder on a big stage, right? It wasn't one of those things where it's...
And Georgia's kicker, who was so good, he kind of screwed them and missed some.
Yeah, he's done that this season. But I was saying with Cade York, giving him that confidence to kick those big field goals in a championship game like that, even when we're up by a good amount, right? Late in the game like that, we're able to kick those field goals and kind of go ahead by just a few points at a time, chip away and keep extending that lead. It looks good for Cade York because it's not absolutely necessary. If you don't make this, it's okay. We're still in control of this game, but it just adds that confidence going into this playoff run right now and then off season and next year with Cade York.
It's awesome. I mean, it's so cool, man. To see LSU kind of just like go through this gauntlet of a schedule and beat up on everyone. I was getting sort of pissed off that it was all this, well, Ohio State's played this many top 19 teams.
It's gross.
And it's just like, I guess, a win on the road against Bama, who's lost in Tuscaloosa like 4 times this decade, means nothing. But look, the committee got it right. I'm not so sure if maybe Ohio State had a better first half. I'd be interested to see what it would have happened. Also, if Jake Fromm doesn't come back in the game, I think that the committee members do the whole like, oh, you know, they played a backup quarterback. We don't know. It's kind of interesting.
Stetson Bennett the fourth.
Stetson Bennett the fourth. And I love how they tried to compare like, okay, so Jalen Hurts did this whenever he was with Bama against them last year.
It was great.
He came in. It's like,
but that was really a dig at Georgia. They're like, hey, guess what? Remember all those backup quarterbacks that like slapped you around? I love it. A lot of Tom Brady references this game. Gary seemed like he had no want to really compliment LSU, but he had to.
He didn't have a choice.
It was kind of this
how bad Georgia looked.
Yeah, it was kind of this like half compliment. compliments of like, yeah, I think so. I don't know. I try to tune them out as much as possible, but you could kind of hear almost like, you're one of them. It's like, what does that mean? Is that a compliment?
Yeah, he wasn't good. Neither of them were actually very enthusiastic about it. It was just kind of more